This region around the Great Lakes has been called the heartland. When it comes to agriculture, there's hardly an area in the world that compares.
Everybody, just hold on. I don't know what we're going to have here.
There's a lot of self-proclaimed geniuses out there that know the national yield, but they're all wrong.
Manage money, piling in.
Double digits higher.
So at this point, we're in kind of uncharted territory.
There's a lot of money on the sidelines.
So that was a crazy one.
That's what brings the viewers back. That a boy.
Good morning, everybody. It's Friday, October 24th, and this is the AgYield War Room. I'm Dan Dempsey, and I'll be moderating today's session. As always, if you got any questions or comments, please feel free to drop us a line in the chat area. We'll be sure to get to it during the show. Overnight markets here, December corn down 2.5 at 425.5. November soybeans were down 1.5 at 1043.25. And December Chicago wheat was down 1/4 at 512.75. Government is still shut down, so there's no export sales announcements. We are, however, through 17 of 23 settlements for the harvest price discovery period for crop insurance. Corn is right about 419.5, and soybeans are at 1020. So we continue to inch toward getting that price settled. It's going to take quite a drastic move really to alter those prices. So we should be pretty good there. News this morning, I guess late yesterday, early today, certainly escalating tensions between Canada and the United States over a television commercial. President Trump putting on Truth Social that he's terminating all trade negotiations with Canada over the commercial that they posted referencing tariffs. So the headlines carry on. We've got U.S. and Chinese trade delegations scheduled to meet the next 3 days. That's going to be real important. Certainly headlines should be coming out of those meetings. And that's looking to set the stage for next Thursday when President Trump and President Xi are scheduled to meet and have a sidebar. And that should be really important because based on some of the comments President Trump's made here earlier this week, we may see some deals. So that'll be key. Outside of that, guys, we got Nova options going off today. It's the end of the week, going into should be another good harvest weekend for a majority of the belt. Weather looks good. Ben, why don't you put a bow on this thing for us?
Yeah, yesterday felt pretty good. We pushed up into the higher end of the range and corn and soybeans. Before we came on, Jason hit it on the head. Beans are just in a big, wide sideways trade. Right now we're at the top. You get optimistic. Corn got, pretty close to its recent highs, top end of the range. You get pretty optimistic. Kind of been conditioned for failure. So we'll see how things play out today. Definitely, I think with a harvest weekend, it might be hard to extend those gains. But we'll see. We're just waiting for some pretty significant data to be released. What kind of sales are we doing? Getting a real boots on the ground look at yield. I do think we're going to go back to this year and reference it in the future. We talk about confidence in data and the early season vegetative index satellite data that came out to project yields. If that comes in and it's off by, let's call it 7 or 8 bushels in the future, I think it'll be much like the last couple of years, how we treated the Western Corn Belt drought when it didn't really super affect the outcome of the crop. So I think we'll put that in that category where people will start to diminish what those early season yield models mean, if that is to materialize. So, waiting on that, waiting to see what happens with the trade war. It's been more than a couple times where we've had a lot of optimism in the grain markets and nothing happens. Ultimately, I think that there's going to be some room for us to sell some beans to China, regardless, call it December through February, maybe. And we're on the clock with that. And I think that sometimes we minimize that the producer also, we always talk about price rationing. Well, I think that the producer did a pretty good job of supply rationing in beans by cutting back on so many acres preemptively, which, leaves beans in kind of a precarious spot of they could be really good or they may be mediocre at best. So we're again, this is it's like the Blair Witch Project or Groundhog Day or whatever you want to call it. We keep walking around in circles, waiting for some of this stuff to come to light, and we're as blind today as we were a day ago, a week ago, and 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, that's right. Ben, what do you, from an options perspective? I know we generally migrate towards areas on expiration day. Thoughts on November? Where you think we go here?
There's a lot open in 440.
1040.
I'm sorry, 1040 and soybeans.
Mhm.
I don't think Nova options have a real massive open interest that you would see in one of the major contracts in corn. So I'm not too excited about that. I think corn finds buyers in first stop we're at today, and then around all the moving averages in the low 20s. And soybeans has quite a bit of congestion around the high 20s, 30s, but there is quite a bit open in the 1040 strike. 200 day is 1029.5. I expect that to find some support first couple if it does get back down there. And I think both charts look pretty good. If it wasn't for all the lack of input and the things that could blindside us, I would be pretty comfortable that maybe we can continue this rally in a slow fashion. But again, you're conditioned for failure at this point. But I think the bean chart looks pretty good. I think the next leg would make it look really good for the short term. But again, all it takes is a tweet or a failure with meetings next week. We also have first notice date for beans next week. I'm really interested in how that works. My commercial contacts tell me that growers sold beans and delivered corn on basis. I think that corn will see a setback for that period. I'm not sure about beans. It's rare that you have an up day and then you see basis go up again after the close in a lot of places for soybeans. So we're not going anywhere. It doesn't feel like violently today. I think rallies will be very slow moving, much like our break was in corn.
Hey, Ben, do you think they'll try to go close that gap today before the weekend on the corn at that 432 3/4? I mean, they get into that top end. It feels like they might be trying to.
I'm kind of in the camp that I don't know about today. I feel like we'll fill it, and then I feel like we'll have an obligatory stop run above 33, 34. But that puts you right at a 50% retracement of the entire move and right up against the 200-day in corn. And I think that corn struggles getting above the 200-day for a while. So, and that 200-day is 37.5. So I do think we'll get it filled eventually. And I think we'll punish the people that have been aggressive sellers from 25 to 33 one time. That's how commodity markets work. But again, Justin's mentioned a number of times that we're on that last third of harvest. And is there going to be some space problems in different places? I don't think there's going to be a huge space problem in the East. But when you look at 99 million acres of corn, halfway, 2/3 through, we see basis tightening up. It doesn't send the message that anyone is going to be overrun with corn. If you're running an elevator and you don't come out of harvest or a processor and you don't come out full, you get to go to the boss's office and explain what happened. And that's why we're seeing basis. I think one of the reasons that we're seeing basis appreciate at a time where logically you would think that basis might get softer as more grain comes across the scale. So it's an interesting scenario. You beg the question, and I don't want to put a tinfoil hat on and be the pie in the sky guy, but it makes you wonder, are we doing more business while we're shut down and we're not receiving this data? Export inspections are good. We see that. But any sales that we've made in the last 2 or 3 weeks, they're not going to show up as shipments for, could be 2 weeks, could be 4 weeks, could be 5 weeks. But certainly basis does not act like a 99 million acres planted with 185, our last sort of yield numbers, type of yield. And even at 180, the amount of volume, I think Dustin's mentioned 900 million additional bushels that we have never seen before coming over the scales with the numbers that we know. So it's certainly peculiar. And I think there's probably more people that don't believe in a corn and a bean rally that keep trading the same narrative over and over and over again. And I think there's a lot of people that believe in the bullish narrative and they keep trading the same narrative over and over and over again. And in reality, we're in a sideways market that has been range bound. And it would be exciting to see us break through to the upside. Fear is insurance prices were set high and we roll over and break. That's, I think, now the worst case scenario for the producer.
Very good. Jace, give us some thoughts as we head into the weekend, and then we'll bow on it.
No, Ben kind of nailed it in my opinion too. Yeah, good volume yesterday. Good close in corn, good close in beans. You know, to get too excited about corn without new information, I think you got to be really careful. I mean, it's got a momentum going with it. Farmers don't have new information. You know, they have their neighbors, they have the things they've read. They kind of have the viral, it's not out there, disease pressure, you know, kind of narrative going around, you know, and so there could be just a lack of farmer selling, and not necessarily a lack of it out there. Now it could be, you know, maybe we'll find out. Yeah, when you add up all these different things, all these different problems in all these different areas, you know, it was just way bigger than, you know, I guess than we expected, or, you know, the bears expected for sure. So I think you gotta be careful with that too. You know, you don't want to be too bearish. You want to keep your options open. Obviously crop insurance is expiring. So I think you have to, and we've been doing this, Dan, you know, and you guys know, we've been protecting these levels and keeping a lot of upside open because there's just so many unknowns out there. But I would caution getting too friendly in this point in time. It's October. We've been on a rally since August. It's been a nice, you know, like I said, momentum trade. And that's kind of a normal move in markets, in the corn market in particular, going into crop insurance. And then a lot of times, if we have a large enough supply, you'll see weakness between now and first notice day November that we've mentioned. So what I'm doing, Dan, is I'm just, you know, I'm going to be just keeping a close eye on price action between now and first notice day. And if it starts making a bad trade, you know, going into the end of October and November, I think you just got to be careful because a lot of bushels might end up moving second half of harvest, you know, right into that time of year that we see, you know, time and again, a lot of pressure. So, you know, beans, I have no idea. I say the spreads have been up and down. You know, Nov Jan has been whipsawing, Nov March, basis improvement. Meal's been up for 2 weeks straight, it seems like. Or, you know, soybean oil doesn't go anywhere. And it's, you know, and you look at the beans in general, yeah, it's just a big range, you know, stuck in a 50-cent range all year long. You know, higher lows and lower highs until something changes. Yeah, and this could be a big weekend. I mean, we got these, you know, trade talks going on in Malaysia with Scott Besson. He wants to come back with some positive news, and you know, set the table for Trump next week, like you mentioned, and Xi. You know, I heard a story. Is that true that Scott Besson came out and said one of the negotiators on the Chinese side is unhinged or something, and then Xi fired him? Did you hear that?
Yeah, I guess the last time they got, I guess things got a little loud.
Yeah.
You know, and Besant took that to Trump, and I think what happened, my understanding is that led to the maybe we don't meet, you know, maybe we don't need to meet type of thing. And then it cooled really quickly because then a day later he's talking about how he's coming home with a deal.
Yeah.
So it's like,
yeah. So, you know, I think the Chinese want a deal.
It's like the Dictator movie, Jace. He was like,
right. Yeah. So, yeah, that guy
this guy's gone.
He doesn't work here anymore.
Yeah.
So,
we sent him away.
Yeah. So that those are going to be big market movers, one way or the other, I would
Yeah.
think. Deal, no deal type of stuff. But no, that's all I know.
Very good. Ben, one last thing to add here.
As far as the trade deals go, I think that Trump, Rick Rollins, I think they really need a win in agriculture.
Amen.
Right? I think they're getting a lot of heat, from different things, cattle, not selling any soybeans, starting to gain more attention.
On the PR front, they're not good, right?
They're getting killed.
Just horrible communicators on any of this stuff. Sorry, Ben, but yeah, I agree.
No, I agree. I think that agriculture in general is getting frustrated with what's going on. And I think they need the post to win. And, regardless of your political disposition, he's had some wins in some places in different things that don't have to do with agriculture. But I think we're due for some sort of positivity. I don't know what we have to give up to get that. But certainly they're starting to take some pretty serious heat in the media over the agriculture kind of getting pushed to the wayside. And I
don't think it's wrong. I think it's necessary. You're coming into midterms, you better do something.
And probably a very good tactical move by the Chinese to hold out on this and put some pressure on them in this case, right? Everyone, I'm not gonna say everyone, but I think it's been fairly obvious that the opposing team of Trump is wanting to play up how bad he is for agriculture. And one thing that gets me, and I'm probably going to take some heat for saying this, but everyone complaining about importing cattle are a lot of the same people that are mad we're not exporting beans. And I know that they're fairly under some different circumstances, but they are in effect the same thing, right? You free trade, you move things where they have to go to meet demand and need. And people leave out the cattle industry, the screwworm problem, the fact that we decimated animal or specifically cattle for a long time. There's a lot of bullish things that have fed into that. So, I saw something yesterday that $20 a pound, $23 a pound steak is Trump's fault. No, it's not. It has to do with things that predated his presidency, screwworm, and the things that happened before his presidency were not the fault of that administration either. So an open mind to markets and agriculture in general is really seems to be moving to the front burner of places where the opposition of Trump wants to attack him.
Well, it's a good segue because Ryland, when you pare back the onion on this Argentine beef thing, it's much ado about nothing when you break the numbers down. So I know feeder cattle this morning are getting killed, but I feel like a lot of that's based on U.S. and Mexico meeting next week to talk about the border. So
right.
Why don't you share with us a few of your thoughts here?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we've had a lot to digest this week and last night, just over the wires. It said that Mexico's ag minister is going to come to Washington next week to discuss possibly reopening the Mexican border. So obviously it's just one more risk off after risk off. I mean, the agenda here clearly, at least from the administration, to get prices lower, cattle, beef, you name it. And like it or not, that's just where we're at. So it's a tough one to fight right now. No question about it. But overall, we haven't seen any kind of downtick to a substantial degree this week in cash markets yet. I mean, we have seen a little bit of cash trade at 368 to 370 in Nebraska, 370 Iowa, bids servicing at 238 for live in the South. So we'll see. Maybe we can get cattle a little bit lower here by the end of the week, just on liquidation alone. But we have been seeing open interest tick up here. So I think you got a lot of new selling. I think you got a lot more fear in the market that that was there before, this week started, and just a lot more animus, I think, towards the administration, so it's all kind of culminating right now. And I think the devil's going to be in the details with whatever reopening timeline they establish, but obviously we're going to get in front of it. That's going to be a scary thing for anybody that was hoping to see kind of a recovery towards the end of this week. So still more to know, I think, at least at that rate. And we're not getting a cattle on feed report or a cold storage report because the government shut down. So we're still kind of flying blind in that regard. And on the hog side of things, just hard to find some good news here. I mean, maybe with the trade talks getting canceled with Canada could be even a risk off on the hog side of things, but we are still seeing cash and bellies lower, new lows in Feb, new lows in Dece, and open interest increasing. So it feels like maybe we are seeing a little bit more producer hedging or indeed just some outright selling here, just as the market still continues to trend lower. So at this point, still no end in sight there, but hopefully we can maybe see some short covering by the end of this week in hogs.
Thank you, my friend. We did it. We made it. Bri, Fun Fact Friday. Take us out here, bud.
All right, thanks, Dan. Happy Friday, everyone. We made it. So today I'm going to let everyone in on some of our conversations we have here at AgYield when we get a moment of time after the markets close. It obviously usually starts with Ryland saying some crazy comment like this week, saying that he still believes that he could take on a kangaroo, which we all laugh, saying there's not a chance. Someone throws out maybe a wallaby. I think that might be a more even fight, which then leads to Jason asking, is the possum the only marsupial in North America? Someone throws out raccoon. Raccoon's not a marsupial. Someone throws out sugar glider. No chance. That's not a marsupial. And then, of course, Ryland finishes off. What about the duck-billed platypus, which is a marsupial, but is only native to Australia. So then we're wondering, what the hell is a duck-billed platypus? So here are some fun facts on the duck-billed platypus. It's basically 5 animals in one. It has a duck's bill, beaver's tail, otter's feet, lays eggs like a reptile, and produces milk like a mammal. So it's like Mother Nature didn't know what the hell and just hit the mash button there. So the males are venomous. They have cute little ankle spurs, Ryland, on their back legs that the venom will shoot strong enough where humans will scream out loud and swell for weeks. It hunts with electricity. It closes its eyes and ears and nose underwater and uses electroreceptors in its bill to detect electrical fields produced by shrimp and worms. That's how it detects its food. It has no stomach. The food goes straight from the esophagus to the intestines. It has no teeth. It grinds food with gravel in its gizzard like a bird. It has no nipples, Ryland. Babies drink milk that oozes from the pores in the mom's skin and laps it off her belly.
Wow. That's pretty graphic.
They store fat in the tail like a camel with his hump, just in case they need an emergency snack. Scientists, when they first saw taxidermy of this thing, thought it was a hoax. They actually tried to pull it apart. They thought it was a duck sewn onto a beaver. And we have a little clip of what it would look like if it was mashed up with one of our teammates here.
Oh God! Come on. I hope this doesn't come up.
It is. Wow. As Paul Harvey would say, now you know the rest of the story.
Looks like my dad.
Oh, you know the rest.
Happy Friday, everybody.
Jeez.
Got something oozing there. Right?
Yeah. Where's the milk?
Where's the ooze? Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, very good. Oh man, this AI stuff is so good. Appreciate that, Bri. Just came into the open, guys. We got looks like December corn's down 3 now. 425 is the last. November soybeans also down 3 at 1041 3/4, and December Chicago wheat's down 3/4 at 512 1/4. Again, November options expire today. Get in touch with your consultant there to reevaluate your position and go through that. Also, appreciate everybody that tunes in on a daily basis. If you wouldn't mind, throw us a like and certainly subscribe. Doesn't cost you anything to do so. And it'll keep you up to speed on everything that's going on with AgYield. So again, thanks to everybody that supports the show. We're doing this live every day that the markets are open on X, Facebook Live, and YouTube Live, 8:15 Central Time. Appreciate the thoughts and comments this morning, guys. It was a good show. Hope everybody has a great weekend, and we look forward to talking to you again next week.
The War Room is proudly presented by AgYield. For over 50 years, the AgYield team has provided grain marketing and risk management solutions for growers across the country. Our veteran consultants harness cutting-edge technologies to pinpoint risk, optimize market performance, and protect your farm's profitability. Discover a new approach to farm revenue management at AgYield.com.
Hey guys, Jack here. Be sure to support the show by hitting the like button, leaving us a comment, and subscribing to the channel for all the latest updates. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.